Are we ready now?
We are now.
Okay. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. If everyone would rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendships among the united cultures.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Mrs. Sandoval, roll call, please.
Dr. Campbell. Mrs. Hunt Daly. Mr. Jaramillo.
Here.
Mr. Ortiz.
Here.
Mrs. Lee.
Present. We do have a quorum. Next will be adoption of agenda. I ask, are there any changes to the agenda? If so, what? I am going to recommend, Mr. Widener, that we remove agenda item 9, the executive session, as the board does not need to meet further this evening in completing the evaluation instrument at this time. Board members, any further changes?
No.
All right, Superintendent Widener, is there a recommendation for approval of the agenda as amended?
I recommend that we approve the agenda as amended without item 9.
Thank you. Board members, is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you. And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. It has been,
Madam President,
yes, sir.
I do have a point of clarification.
Yes, sir.
Under announcements,
Yes, sir.
Veterans Day is listed as November 11th, 2024. It says on there that there are no students. In looking at the calendar, on our approved calendar, we do have students on
We do have
Veterans Day.
students. Thank you.
Sorry.
Good catch, sir. All right. It has been moved by Mr. Ortiz and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to approve the agenda as amended, noting that we will be removing agenda item 9, executive session, and correcting the announcement for November 11th. It will just be noting that it is Veterans Day and students, you do have to come to school. I know. Is there any further discussion, board members? All right, hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval, please.
Mrs. Hunt Daly. Mr. Jaramillo.
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Item 3, adoption of minutes for October 1st, 2024. Are there any amendments to the minutes? And if so, what? All right, Superintendent Widener, is there a recommendation for approval of the minutes as presented?
I recommend that we approve the minutes from October 1st, 2024.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented? That's accurate. Because we adopted the minutes from the previous meeting at the last meeting.
I make the motion to adopt the minutes for October.
Is there a
First.
second?
Is it the 21st?
First.
I'll second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Mr. Ortiz to approve the minutes of the October 1st meeting as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval, please.
Mr. Hadamio,
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mrs. Lee,
Aye, the motion carries. Mr. Wagner, recognitions, sir.
All right, it is our second meeting of the month, our regular board meeting. And for those of you that don't know, this is when we do our recognitions. Last year, we started with our social emotional love program. We have SEL teams in all of our schools. And we are really focusing on providing social emotional wellness in our schools. And so monthly, we recognize somebody who's doing outstanding, we recognize two folks that are doing outstanding jobs in SEL work. And the first couldn't be here tonight. He had some trouble getting here, but we selected and I will send this to Cebolleta with Ms. Salazar. We want to recognize Thomas Cleaver. Mr. Cleaver is the head teacher, sixth grade teacher at Cebolleta Elementary School. He has a small group of students at Cebolleta and is really, if you get the newsletter that I send out weekly, he's really doing some innovative teaching with his students. He's giving them hands-on learning. He's teaching them about SEL and care. There are 3 boys in the class. The young male students are learning about beekeeping. They are keeping bees and they're taking care of the bees and learning about honey production and how bees work. And so they made the newsletter 3 weeks ago for their beekeeping endeavors. And this week there is a few paragraphs talking about their Madagascar hissing cockroaches. And these boys are growing cockroaches. They're feeding them, they're caring for them. The boys are talking to the cockroaches and they have these pairs of cockroaches that they're raising and really care about. And bless their hearts, they wanted me to hold them and I said no, because my reaction would be to not hold the cockroach. And so it's pretty neat to see the way the students are learning. It's hands-on, it's social emotional love, and they're doing math and they're learning about feeding and care. And so tonight for SEL, it is my honor to recognize Mr. Thomas Cleaver. My chair is doing weird stuff while I'm standing here. Maybe I'm talking with my hands. Our second recognee for social emotional love, her name has come up several times. She's come up in my newsletters. She is very good about providing SEL with her students, but also with her colleagues. The staff at Milan Elementary School is working together. They're participating in a Biggest Loser challenge. They're trying to get fit and healthy and eat right before the holidays, trying to lose weight. And they have, tonight's recognee has worked on putting a Fitspiration wall. And is, people can share quotes and and encouragement and recipes and just kind of a lot of encouraging of her colleagues. And while she does it with the students, it's important that we think about our staff too and their wellness. So it is my honor from Milan Elementary School to recognize Miss Felicia Phillips. Congratulations.
Thank you.
been over taking pictures of your wall and everything, and, but I hadn't got you with
We
it.
usually have administrators go up.
That's all her.
And I was thinking like the staff, so everybody who's participating, we can all be part
There's
of it.
13 folks?
There's 13 participants.
That's great. Will you guys take a picture for me?
Yes.
Okay. Zach, will you get a picture of them? Alright.
Thank you.
We'll see how good everybody is. They have a video, an inspirational video. So it's amazing,
Thank
it's
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Should we have our principal, come up?
Sure.
And our Edu Champion belt. Last month's recipient was really coveting it. She was really keeping it, and so as we speak, it's on the road from Laguna Acoma to come here to the board meeting. So I don't have the Edu Champion belt right now, but we have selected a recipient, and we want to recognize this outstanding teacher from Mesa View Elementary. She is a champion for education in our schools, for her students. Mrs. Griego was telling me kind of about the things that she's done and what she's implemented in her classroom. She's implemented a PECS program, and I'm gonna let Ms. Griego kind of tell you what that's about and why we've selected this person as our Edu Champion.
Sure. So PECS is Picture Exchange Communication System. Though that system is used for our students that are to speak and communicate verbally is a challenge. So we use Picture Exchange to support the communication system for needs and wants and systems in a classroom. And one of the things that Mrs. Bodley with a group of staff members at Mesa View, they are leading and championing this PECS communication system, and our students with autism and other learning needs. And she's just amazing with just one training. She's just phenomenal, and I've seen how she uses it and supported it. And I've asked her to be the lead. It's kind of like what we tell you, you do one and then you teach one. So she'll be our lead and our model for our school site teachers at other campuses. She's amazing with everything she does. So we are very fortunate and very happy to have all of her talents and treasures here for Cibola County Schools.
In my history, I've worked with tech programs, and it is life-changing for students who have a hard time communicating. And you know, if a student is hungry, or they need to go to the restroom, or they need a break, they can show an image, and that's a great way to communicate with their teacher what they need. And it helps to really keep the learning process together. And so it is my honor, and I will present your belt here in just a little bit to recognize from Mesa View, Miss Janice Bodley. You have to put the belt on. You guys can't go to dinner yet.
And then you have to flex as well.
Right, yeah. So,
No, she's gonna flex. Nice. You could do And then of course,
Get your belt.
family also.
So,
Mr. Weiner, for family as well?
Yes.
Yes.
She's our Edu Champion for October.
There you go.
And I'll take the first one, your belt from me. Board members, without the belt presentation, that concludes our recognitions.
Thank you. Next is citizens to address the board. Mrs. Sandoval, are there any citizens?
There are no citizens to address the board.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is presentations. I believe I'll take the first one if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am.
So I am gonna give a brief report on the executive sessions that we had October 8th and October 14th. As they were just executive sessions. I had it all pulled up and then I forgot to be right on there. My apologies, everyone. I'm going to read you a very, very brief statement that basically just says that in our 2 meetings, only what was listed was discussed. There was no action taken. And I'm here now. I apologize, everyone. The purpose of the both special meetings was to discuss a matter that is covered by one of the exceptions defined in section 10-15H of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act as set forth. This was discussion of limited personnel matters pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically for the board to discuss and prepare the superintendent's evaluation. On October 18th, the board met for 48 minutes, and on that was October 8th, and then on October 14th, the board met for 2 hours and 23 minutes. And again, only the items listed were discussed and no action was taken. And that's all I have to say about that.
Excellent.
Mr. Whitener.
For our second presentation tonight, item B, I have asked Ms. Salazar to follow up on the second read of the NMSBA policies, number 246 through 254. And again, this is the second read on these policies.
Good evening, Madam President, board members, Mr. Superintendent, colleagues, community members. As Mr. Weiner mentioned, this is our second read for our non-discrimination equal opportunity revision. And as a disclaimer, we did go through Walsh and Gallegos, and Esperanza did provide the revisions that were provided to you. And these are a reflection on our Title IX regulation. And this is the second time you've seen it. In your margins, it has explanations and what the changes are, and they are highlighted in red. Either they're scratched through to update that language, or there's an addition. And so if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Board members, questions about our policy revision? Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that. Mr. Wagner.
For items C, D, E, F, and G, I have asked Mr. Triplehorn to come and give us an update on all of the projects and construction that we have going on. Starting with the district office restoration from the flood this summer. And then we will go into Mesa View, concrete work, and everything that we have going on. So
All the
Mr.
rest of the presentations are mine, based. So, district office restoration and Mesa View restorations, I'm gonna tie those two together, same company doing that. So we've put drywall back on the walls here as well as Mesa View. We're waiting on some cabinet work to be done at Mesa View. And flooring should be going into Mesa View first because it's an easier flooring to source. The flooring that they were gonna put in here to match the existing flooring that was in the hallway, they can't find it, so we had to pick another color that kind of complements what is currently there. So we're hoping to have all of that wrapped up within the next 3 to 4 weeks, so. Any questions on those two items? So one of the holdups at Mesa View was, of course, we had to abate some asbestos. The flooring had asbestos in it, some of the plaster did as well. And so that took a while, and then we have to do sampling to make sure the air is clear before people can go back and work, so. Concrete work at Laguna. So as you guys are aware, last board meeting, we approved a PO for replacement of sidewalks at Laguna. So that is going to entail about 5,600 square feet of concrete in the front of the building. A majority of the sidewalks that lead up to the front of the building, so the gymnasium, the office, were in bad condition from contractors driving over them with heavy equipment and whatnot. So the contractor is actually gonna be starting on that project on October 28th. We're hoping to have that done within about 4 to 6 weeks. So we will strategically block off sidewalks, repair it, cover it, keep the other sidewalks open so we still have access to and from the buildings. So that should be, like I said, a 4 to 6 week project. And we'll be starting that, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday. Any questions on that? All right. So update on design for renovation of student services building. So we are still working with engineers and some architects to do some design work. We're not doing a whole lot of structural changes to the building. But we are updating the electrical, the HVAC system, and then inside and outside of the building, we're doing what we consider cosmetic touch-ups. So we're gonna redo the facade of the front of the building. We'll be painting the entirety of the inside of the building with more modern colors, eliminating the 1970s paneling that's on the walls in there in some spaces. Putting in LVT flooring instead of carpet and ceramic tile. So there's a lot of cosmetic stuff that's happening inside the building. We are rearranging a few spaces. There's some bigger spaces that we think we can divide into like 2 separate, still good size offices, but we have 2 offices instead of 1 giant office. And we are looking at construction to start on that probably in March. So we have to get the design done, we have to take it to CID, which is Construction Industries Division, for permitting and approval of the plans and all that, so that takes a little while to do all that. So March is when we're looking at to start, and we're looking at about a 6 to 8 month renovation on it. It is gonna be around, right now, the price is looking at about between $1 million and $1.5 million to do the renovations. Once we get all of the plans done, then we can actually get pricing from the contractors that are gonna be working on it, so. Right now, the budget that we have remaining on that project is about $900,000, because we did budget 1.5, but that included purchase of the building. So we will be bringing, once we do get pricing, we'll bring that back to the board for the budget increase of probably about $600,000 if we do get to that 1.5 million threshold.
And our goal for that building is for it to be a one-stop shop for families. If you need to enroll your child, if you need to get a Chromebook, if you need Chromebook repair, if you need to find out, pay K-12, just kind of a one-stop shop for families where they can stop and get what they need for their students.
Yeah, and so we will be deciding as to what, well, all of the departments that I oversee will be in that building, of course, but there may be some other services that come into that building from the other directors' departments. We need to finalize that really actually pretty quickly because the number of people in the building affects the number of toilets that I'm required by code to have in the building, how many water fountains have to be in the building, so we're gonna be coming up with that plan hopefully in the next few weeks or so. So do you want me to pause so you can do?
Sure.
Yeah.
The Edu Champion belt just came for those of you that are watching online, so we're getting the photo opportunity for that.
Okay. You have to wear
Now
it.
you gotta flex.
Like to go
Sure,
on?
why not?
Yay.
And then he has to flex.
We're all flexing.
Sorry, Mr. Triplehorn.
No problem. They need to get out of here, so. Yeah, no, I still have like 3 more things on there, so. Is there any questions on the update on the student support services building? Yes, sir.
I know, Madam President.
Yes,
So
sir.
what budget was that coming from? Is it the same budget from the purchase or I can't?
So the budget that we used to purchase the building and put out the initial budget request from the board was from some monies that we received from the PSFA for maintenance, as well as we can use it for pretty much anything. We can use it for construction, we can use it for maintenance. So it's a combination of some PSFA funds that we've received from the state.
And then the renovation will come through the same thing?
Yeah, we'll use
Correct.
the same funding mechanism for the renovation, so
And we
it's-
we were vetting purchasing the building last fall. And so that was before you were elected, Mr. Jaramillo. And so we set aside the money last summer and have held on to it. And so we do have a budget pool of 1.5 million. The cost of the building was $485?
No, it was 585 or something like that.
585.
Yeah.
And so we have that remaining money to utilize to revamp the building.
Right. Any other questions on that? All right. My last one, well, not my last one, unless you want me to just do J and K and I'll just stay up here because those are mine too. The last thing I'd like to talk about until I have to come back up again is the grounds updates. So I know there's been some stuff on social media about the grounds and stuff, so I'd like to address that. So we are working on going through and doing kind of our end of summer cleanup of the campuses. Last week I had the maintenance crew, once we got done moving into Blue Water, they went and focused on one campus specifically. So they're working on, cleaning out the goat heads that have grown and all that stuff that just grows over the summer. Stuff that we can't mow, cause obviously goat heads don't grow tall enough for us to go with our mowers over them, so we have to hand do all that or with shovels. So we did focus on Mount Taylor this week. Next week, the remainder of this week, we're gonna be focusing, I believe, on Los Alamitos, getting that area. And then, once we're complete with Los Alamitos, I believe we're gonna be going out to Milan to hit those areas. So we have a schedule of the schools that we're gonna be hitting to clean up for the winter, so.
And some really great news, we do have full access on our playground at Milan Elementary School.
Correct, yeah, we had a weird, during the summer, we had this weird, when it was wet, we had this weird mold, like growing patches on the wood chips in some of the playgrounds. It wasn't big areas, it was like a little pad like that. Something I've never seen that happen in the 12 years that I've been a facilities person. So we took out all those areas. We are also redistributing wood chips in those areas. We're bringing in more wood chips if we need to. I just ordered 2 truckloads of wood chips that should be coming in the next couple of weeks. So we do have to replenish those because obviously the wind blows them out. And anyone that has a playground can attest that they all end up in a corner somewhere, probably by the preschool classroom, right? So yeah, so it's an ongoing thing with grounds, and we're doing our fall cleanup now, so.
Very good.
Some of our campuses were muddy.
So in our classes, we did have a lot of rain this summer, and so it didn't help with the weed control because they had all that water to grow with, and so weeds breed mosquitoes and blah, 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 so it's a never-ending battle, job security for me, so. Any questions about grounds? All right.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Easy crowd
Triplehorn.
tonight.
We're gonna call you back, Mr. Triplehorn.
I know, I'm gonna be back up there.
Item H, I just wanted to let the board know that we did have our annual audit. It happened from September 27th, but that's when we had our entry meeting for the audit. And it concluded on October 8th. And so our auditors are the same group that we've used the last several years. We have decreased our number of audit findings through the years, but we still want to have audit findings because we want it to be valid. We want to make sure that our systems are working correctly and that our protocols and our spending is all accounted for. And so we did complete, we had the exit meeting on October 8th before the special board meeting. And we will be getting our audit report and you'll all get that presented here at the board meeting in the near future. Item I is also mine. Last month, we talked a lot about our RFP for board legal services. I solicited feedback from board members and asked if anybody had any changes or alterations that they needed to make to the RFP. Didn't really have any changes come from anybody. And so we are ready to roll out another RFP at the end of the month. And so what I would wanna make sure that you're all aware that RFP is going out. Ms. Sandoval put that in the drive and make sure that you're all aware that is going out, and that would be for your board legal services. And so my goal would be to have that out at the end of the month.
Yes, sir.
Madam President, so the item was to inform us that we were ready for the board to approve the announcement of the RFP. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
That would be it.
Yes, sir. I didn't have any changes come from anybody, so I think if you're okay, we're ready to roll it out.
Well, I made some recommendations. And I'm prepared to do that again. And they're basically to clean up some of the procedures. And I think the board needs to review those things and then approve the submission of the RFP. That's the way I see it, that we need to do that. If it's just to have you as the administration submit that, I think that would be that would prevent us from, and preventing me from, individual board members from suggesting changes to the RFP. It is the board's legal services, and so we need to be sure. And that's the reason I think we need to, I will go back to my previous notes, resubmit them. I can probably tell you which aspects of it that I need to see additional information to ensure that we are going to be adequately articulating a set of specifications and processes that are going to be fair, impartial, and objective when we complete that. That's what I see there. So those are my comments at this point. What I see is that you have an agenda item for the next meeting. It doesn't state exactly what it is. I infer from what you're saying here is that the reason it is on the agenda is to what?
To take action, to
Okay.
send it out.
So we need to, I'm going to, again, propose additions to the specifications
Okay.
at that time. Okay?
Dr. Archambault, if you can send that to me and
Sure.
Mrs. Lee, and
Yes.
we'll incorporate those.
Well, no, what we'll do is discuss.
So we get to see it.
Yeah, we discuss first and then we decide.
Okay.
But the final, specifications are gonna be. That's all right with you?
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Anything further, board members?
Mr. Triplehorn, I'll have you help me with these two. As you know, board members, we have been trying to revitalize and standardize the furniture classroom sets that we have in our elementary classrooms. Additionally, Grants High School has been up for a furniture refresh in their labs as well as their teaching areas. And so at this time, we will have two action items tonight where we will approve furniture purchases for these classrooms and for teachers at Grants High School. So Mr. Triplehorn, why don't you talk about that? And
So yes, so we did put out a request for quotes, so an RFQ. We asked vendors that have state contract pricing for furniture, so we did not have to do an RFP. We put out the RFQ, we specifically put out a list of furniture that they were to bid on, or to quote on, I should say. So that furniture for the elementaries is identical to what we put into Blue Water Elementary. So we're standardizing, like Mr. Widener said, across the district for elementary schools. So we had 41 classrooms that we're gonna refurnish with new furniture. And then those classrooms also get a teacher's desk, so it's a brand new classroom. Or do you want me to point it to me?
Yes.
I don't wanna be on that.
Please?
That's why I took the remote with me. I have a bald spot. All right,
Now we know why he took it.
let me go get my hat.
41 classrooms, the kindergarten chairs are all the smaller chairs, smaller tables with the leap pads, which are like
Lily pads.
for when lily pads for when they do floor time, and so kind of a standard in Grant Cibola County Schools where, you know, kindergarten classes in Mount Taylor have the same furniture as kindergarten classes at Blue Water and Cubero, and so this refresh will impact 41 elementary classrooms and 63 GHS teaching classrooms.
Yes, I believe so, yes. So actually, if I could draw your attention to item E in the action items, that should actually read $270,658.63. The action item that you have in your binders is correct, just the agenda was incorrect, and I didn't catch that until after we had made amendments to the agenda. So we did receive these quotes from the companies all in one lump sum. We asked them to give us quotes for all of the furniture. When we sat down and looked at it, we decided we kind of wanted to spread the wealth between these two companies. And so we're having one company do the elementary refresh basically, and then the other company is doing the teachers' desks at the elementary school as well as 60 teacher desks at Grants High School. So that's where we're at. When you guys approve it, we will get the POs done as soon as Mr. Maldonado can. And we'll get moving on that. The GHS furniture update, just so you're aware, the student desks and stuff that we're replacing, that will take place in November during Thanksgiving break. So there will be no disruption to learning, so. And then the last thing on there is Los Alamitos Middle School perimeter fence. So we have an issue at Los Alamitos with keeping the campus secure and safe for students. It's not a bad part of Grants, but there's some low income housing nearby. We get sometimes people go out on the field and do illegal stuff. So we're finding needles and stuff around the campus. So a few weeks ago, I asked a contractor to come out and give me a price. And this is a contractor that's through CES, so it's state pricing. And we walked the entire length of the property perimeter. We're gonna eliminate all of the fence that's currently around the building and the football field and replace it with new gates, 6-foot high fence all the way around. Right now, there's only a 4-foot high fence. And the field will actually get a 6-foot high fence, but with a 2-foot extension on top that's cantilevered out, so it's even that more difficult to climb over. The gates on the field will be on a timer. So right now, there's 4 access points to the field, 4 gates. We're gonna limit that to 2. And those will be on a timer that we can set for whatever time we deem appropriate. 6 o'clock in the morning, let's say, or 7 o'clock in the morning, they open, they unlock. And then let's say 7 o'clock at night, they lock again so people can't come on campus. If you're inside the fence and the gate locks, you can still exit, you just can't get back in. So that's a fire code thing that you have to have. So you can go out after it locks, but you can't get back in, unless you prop it open, I guess. So that will be an action item. I think it's one of the last action items. It is, and so we're asking to approve that, so we can keep the kids safe over there. Teachers too. There's a lot of calls that we get for security issues at that campus. So, any questions on that? And what I will do is I will email Mr. Widener a copy or a picture of the fencing style that we're gonna be putting in, and he can share that with you guys. We're still deciding on colors and stuff like that for it, so. It's not a typical chain link fence. It's a nice looking fence. It won't look like a prison. That's what some people want, so.
And they can put it in Buccaneer colors, so.
Yeah, we can put, we can get the fence in black and the posts in red, so it's a powder coated system, and so there's 6 or 8 colors I think they have, so. Did I just turn it off? I was tired of being on camera. Here we go. Hit the wrong button.
Don't scare us like that.
And I stand for any questions, and that's the end of the presentations.
Board members? Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Triplehorn. Mr. Widener, action items.
All right, we are ready with some action items. These families have been waiting very diligently. We have 2 students from Grants High School who would like to appeal to the board to see if their students could graduate early, ahead of their graduation cohort. So I'm gonna turn it over to the GHS administration and administrative team and let them come talk about their two students. Mrs. Elkins, welcome.
Mrs. President, board members, directors, friends. Today we have probably what would be our final two students requesting to graduate early. So both girls behind me, and I'll let them introduce themselves, are current juniors who are hoping to graduate in May with the class of 2025. I believe that Liliana Gutierrez is first, so I will invite her up here to talk to you all.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Widener, directors, and all others in attendance. My name is Liliana Gutierrez. I am a junior at Grants High School, and I am here to formally propose the opportunity to graduate a year early from Grants High School. This decision has not come lightly. I have spent significant time considering my future and discussing it with my parents, who initially had reservations about bypassing my senior year. However, after much conversation, we are united in the belief that this path aligns with my career aspirations in cosmetology. While I understand that not participating in traditional senior year experiences is a significant choice, I am confident in my readiness for this transition. I recognize that adulthood is approaching quickly, and I feel prepared to embrace the responsibilities that come with it. My upbringing has instilled in me a strong work ethic and a commitment to excellence. My parents have always encouraged me to tackle challenges head-on and pursue my goals with determination. Graduating early would allow me to dedicate myself fully to my passion for cosmetology and enter the workforce sooner, gaining valuable experience in a field I am eager to thrive in. I assure you that I have been diligently preparing for this step throughout my education and my day-to-day life. I work every day after school and will continue as I work through school after graduation. I want to thank GHS administration for allowing me and supporting my proposal I presented tonight. Lastly, board members and Superintendent Widener, I appreciate your consideration of my proposal and would welcome the opportunity to discuss it further. Thank you for your time and support.
Board members? I had to grab Kleenex immediately because I'm so excited for you and this opportunity. Board members, I got it. Anything else? I can't control myself with this
She
one.
can still show animals at the fair.
That's okay. I just am so excited for this opportunity for her.
That's good, that's awesome.
Oh,
It's
They are.
Hello.
You guys are all on board with this?
Yes. At first I wasn't, to be honest with you. I remember my senior year and going through all that, but I know times are different and if this is what she truly wants, I'm here to support her.
And to succeed.
That's right.
good.
That's right.
Well, I think it's important for you to stand beside her. Because you're gonna have to do that as you have in the future. And she makes her way. And it's a risky endeavor, but she wants to take the challenge. And that is always important for you guys to do that. And we wish you well. And we congratulate you. And we hope that you will succeed in what it is that you wish to do. That's my thing.
Well, we know she will do just that.
I know that you have a great family and they will be there to help you, support you. I know them all, so they'll take care of you, so good job.
And same thing like Ron says, I know the family and hopefully you'll come back and be a leader in the town and teach other kids and to become you.
Bring it back home.
She doesn't plan on leaving.
That's
She's
sure.
a lifer. She's signing on new clients.
Thank you.
As we have two students, we're gonna do two items.
Correct, and
So
so
at this
so
point,
I recommend that we do approve the early graduation of Liliana Gutierrez.
wonderful. Is there a motion to approve for Grants High School student Liliana, I'm doing my best to do this, Liliana Gutierrez to graduate early?
I'll move to approve that she graduates early.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, deep breath, I can get through this. It has been moved by Mr. Ortiz and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to approve Grants High School student Liliana Gutierrez to graduate early. Is there any discussion, board members? Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval.
Dr. Ashambo?
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Gutierrez.
I'm gonna take a deep breath and do a reset here. This is the best part of sitting at this table.
Mr. President, board members, directors, at this time, I would like to welcome up Ms. Cadence Herrera and have her talk to you a little bit about her next steps as well.
Yes.
Hi,
Welcome.
I Cadence Herrera am formally requesting consideration for early graduation from Grants High School. As a dedicated student, I have maintained a GPA while completing credit requirements over the past few years. My dedication to my studies and the support of my teachers and family have prepped me well for the challenges ahead. Upon graduation, I plan to enlist into the Air Force, pursuing a career in radiology. Early graduation will enable me to promote my entry into the Air Force Officer Training Program and subsequent radiology training, while enhancing my chances of selection for specialized radiology programs such as the Air Force's radiation therapy or diagnostic imaging programs, while combining my desire to serve my country with my aspiration to improve healthcare outcomes through advanced imaging techniques. In the Air Force, I am able to leverage my radiology skills to support military healthcare operations worldwide, also contributing to medical research and advancements while providing critical diagnostic services to service members and their families. Pursuing a career in radiology within the Air Force will not only honor my commitment to serving my country, but will also foster professional growth. I believe that early graduation is the best step for my personal academic growth. I am confident in my ability to handle the responsibilities and challenges that come with this decision. I kindly request your support.
Wonderful. Board members,
Nervous there.
You have some big plans.
amazing.
How, and so you can enlist as soon as you,
Yeah, no, like right away, like we're going in.
Board members,
Mom, what do you think?
She's had this goal for about 10 years, so it's just something that she's never changed her mind on. This has always been her result, and we're there for her 100% and willing to save for everything early for her.
excellent.
That's great.
It's in a field that I have know very little about. And so it is amazing that the younger generation are pursuing directions earlier than we did. And so it's remarkable that these two have made these choices. It's risky, but we see that you have supported the plan. So, it's such a, an honor for you to join one of the services and achieve those aspirations. So,
I also know this family very well, so I know that your dad and your mother will make sure that you're taken care of. Your dad is my wife's cousin, so that's how I know you guys. So I do congratulate you and I wish you the best.
And I echo the same, you know, just get out there and do what you're gonna do and get in healthcare, you'll be busy. And then also you're gonna be in the services, so you know, you go out and protect America at the same time and take care of the people that need help. Good job.
I'm excited for what the future has in store for you, and I get emotional with these amazing success stories. Thank you for your future service. And I wish you the best of luck going forward because you have an amazing plan set forth before you. And if you just will stick to it, you're gonna do amazing things. Thank you for sharing this with us tonight. Board members, rec that I am. We have an amazing action item. Mr. Widener.
Board members, it is my honor to also recommend Cadence Herrera for early graduation so she can go into the Air Force and become a radiologist.
Ooh.
Wonderful. Is there a motion to approve a Grants High School student, Miss Cadence Herrera, to graduate early? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that Cadence Herrera will graduate with the school year 2024-2025.
And is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Wonderful. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Mr. Ortiz to approve Grants High School student Cadence Herrera to graduate early. Is there any discussion, board members? Mrs. Sandoval, roll call vote, please.
Dr. Archambault,
yes.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mrs. Lee.
Again, a resounding aye. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank
you.
you. Wonderful students you have.
We're doing some good things in the
We're
district.
doing great things in the district. Next, we have consideration of approval of the NMSBA Policy Service Advisories, update 246 through 254. Mr. Widener.
So we had a presentation, our second read, and Ms. Sandoval has included the policies and the revisions in our drive. And so at this time, I recommend that we do approve the second read of the policy advisories.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the NMSBA Policy Service Advisories 246 through 254?
I move that this is Gary Shambo, I move we approve the MSBA Policy Services Advisory 246 to 254.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Dr. Archambault and seconded by Mr. Ortiz to approve the NMSBA Policy Service Advisories 246 through 254. Is there any discussion, board members? Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval, please.
Dr. Archambault,
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mrs. Lee.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have consideration of approval of the permanent cash transfer of $314,022 requested from and approved from the New Mexico Public Education Department in order to resolve the fund reconciliation discrepancies that were causing audit findings because of stale funds not being reconciled since 2001. Mr. Maldonado.
Madam President, board members, Mr. Whitener. The simple explanation here is that when the auditors 5 years ago came, they found that we had more money in our bank account than we had on our books. So we did some research and found out that there were several, and I mean probably 4 or 5 dozen funds that were either overspent or underspent and were causing us to be off balance in our audits. So we asked the PED 3 years ago for a permanent cash transfer, and we paid back those funds that were overspent. And that there were several of them, and they went from our 11,000 operational account back to several different funds, including everything from 24-101 title funds to others. So that reconciled that portion of it. But then we had to also ask for to reconcile those funds that were underspent that we still had in the bank, that were in our that were in the accounting for the different title funds that we wanted to move over back into the 11,000 account. It took us 2 years to finally get that approval, and we asked for a little bit more than that. They disallowed one of those funds, but that's okay. For what we're going to be doing now is doing a journal entry to move the actual, there's no real dollars involved, no cash moving anywhere. It's just a bookkeeping issue and a reconciliation issue that will finally resolve any unreconciled accounts that don't match our bank accounts. So starting in 24-25, not this past audit, but the new audit year for next year, our bank account will be completely reconciled with what's in our balance sheet in terms of assets. And so it took a long time to do that, but it also took some research, but this is a great thing for us to have happen. I'm open to ask any answer any questions.
Board members. Superintendent Widener, is there a recommendation?
I recommend that we approve this transaction and correct these accounts.
Wonderful. Is there a motion to approve the permanent cash transfer of $314,022 from and approved from the New Mexico Public Education Department to resolve the fund reconciliation discrepancies that were causing audit findings because of stale funds not being reconciled since 2001?
Archambault, I'd like to approve the permanent cash transfer as you so stated.
And is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Dr. Archambault and seconded by Mr. Ortiz to approve the permanent cash transfer of $314,022 from the New Mexico Public Education Department to resolve reconciliation discrepancies that were causing audit findings since 2001. Is there any discussion, board members? Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval, please.
Dr. Archambault?
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Next is consideration of approval of the purchase from Meteor Education of 41 elementary teachers' desk configurations and 60 secondary teacher desks at a total cost of $289,608.04. Superintendent Widener.
I recommend that we approve this action item.
Is there a motion to approve the purchase from Meteor Education for the listed 41 elementary teacher desk configurations and 60 secondary teacher desks at a total cost of $289,608.04?
I'll make the motion as stated.
Thank you. Is there a second, please? Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Mr. Ortiz to approve the purchase from Meteor Education of 41 elementary teacher desk configurations and 60 secondary teacher desks at a total cost of $289,608.04. Is there any discussion, board members? Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval, please.
Dr. Shambo?
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Next is consideration of approval of the purchase from K-12 Education of 677 students' desks and 719 students' chairs and 41 sets of soft pads for 41 elementary classrooms at a total cost of $270,658.63. If I am making sure that I am reading what our
You are correct.
Yeah.
Mrs.
number is, yes, I got it. Mr. Widener, recommendation.
I recommend that we do approve this purchase.
Board members, is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Wonderful. It has been moved by Mr. Ortiz and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to approve the purchase from K-12 Education of 677 students' desks, 719 students' chairs, and 41 sets of soft pads for 41 elementary classrooms at a total cost of $270,658.63. Is there any discussion, board members? Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval, please.
Dr. Shambo?
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. And I believe we only have one more action item, which is consideration of approval of the contract with Valley, Valley Fence Company to remove the old fencing and install new fencing and access points at Los Alamitos Middle School at the cost of $315,808.33. Mr. Widener.
I do recommend that we purchase the fencing and put it on the perimeter of the fence.
Is there a motion to approve the contract, board members?
I'll move to approve the contract for the fencing.
And a
Company, I guess.
thank you. And a second?
I'll second the motion.
Wonderful. It has been moved by Mr. Ortiz and seconded by Dr. Archambault to approve the contract with Valley Fence Company to remove the old fencing and install new fencing and access points at Los Alamitos Middle School at the cost of $315,808.33. Discussion, board members?
Hopefully it's a
Hearing-
nice one and we'll get more for the rest of the schools.
Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval, please.
Dr. Shambo?
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Board members, the consent agenda is bills and expenditures report for September 2024. Mr. Weidner, is there a recommendation?
I recommend that we approve the bills and expenditure report for September of 2024.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
And a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Mr. Ortiz to approve the consent agenda as listed, including the bills and expenditures report for September 2024. We shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Sandoval, please.
Dr. Shambo?
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. And as happened earlier, we do not have an executive session this evening. Mr. Weidner, announcements.
We do have some important announcements. This week, starting yesterday, Grants High School is celebrating their homecoming. So they'll be having events every evening and dress up days, and it'll be the culmination with the football game and parade and all of that this weekend. Next week, Laguna Acoma High School will be celebrating homecoming, and so they'll be having their events, and we're doing some special programming where the band and the cheer teams from Los Alamitos will be supporting at Laguna Acoma. So make plans to go to both homecomings and the games if you're a fan of fall sports. November 5th, the district will be closed in observance of Election Day. As we've discussed recently, we will have our board meeting, our regular board meeting, not on the 5th, because that's Election Day. We'll have it 2 days later on the 7th, so we will have that board meeting on the 7th. We will be discussing the Sharp partnership and kind of seeing how that works, revisiting that at our November 7th meeting and kind of getting feedback to see how that partnership is working and if it is working as we need it to. As I mentioned earlier, November 11th is Veterans Day 2024, but we will have students that day. It says there we do not have students, but we will have students that day. And then again, we'll have a regular board meeting on November 19th.
Future agenda
Future
items.
agenda items, as we mentioned a while ago with Dr. Guy, we will be revisiting the RFP and talking about that RFP for board legal services. Mr. Triplehorn is tasked with helping us with our facilities master plan. Mr. Jones is gonna be helping us with Isaac and the technology team. We need to have a technology master plan that definitely is in line for when we build a new building or we do construction, and so we'll need to update those plans. And then Dr. Archambault and I are talking a lot about getting some information to you guys about the status of our Indian Parent Advisory Council, as well as our IPPs. And I'm in the process right now of working with Mrs. Jones and Mr. Valdo to set up our tribal consultations. We have to do our fall tribal consultations in November, and so there's a lot going on there too that you all need to be updated on. And that's everything for the future, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, sir.
I was asked if they were gonna have a bonfire.
They are having a bonfire. There's a
Okay.
big stack of wood out here, a lot of
I
wood.
didn't look when I drove in.
Put all the weeds in there that you cut.
I'll let them know.
We'll be gathering the weeds for the campus.
Yes.
Put some weed in there. Some weeds, I mean,
No weed.
Oh,
That's why the
Friday night.
Ed is conducting its Indian Summit, Tribal Summit tomorrow and
That is correct.
Thursday. They have them at least twice a year So this is the fall.
That's correct.
And
Thank
I
you.
will plan on being at the homecoming game. Do we need to let anybody know if there's more than us there or it's not
We
a big
can
deal?
put a PSA out.
Cause I need to know, when is the Laguna one, do you know? I know when this one is, but I'd like to go to the Laguna football game.
Is it Saturday or Friday nights? I'll get that for you,
Let
Mr.
me know,
Almian.
cause I do wanna be in attendance for that.
Anything else, board members? Superintendent Weiger, is there a recommendation to adjourn?
I recommend that we adjourn.
Wonderful. Is there a motion to adjourn as presented? And a second, please.
Second.
It has been moved by Mr. Ortiz and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to adjourn the meeting as amended. Mrs. Sandoval, roll call please.
As amended?
We had amended our agenda.
Oh, okay. Amendment.
You forgot that we took out executive session.
Yeah, that's true. Dr. Guy, Ashambo,
Yes.
Mr. Matamio,
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mrs. Lee.
Aye, motion carries. The board adjourned at 6:46 PM.
But I'm gonna get my.
Good meeting, everyone. Thank you.